Dance, Etienne commanded. He seized Matt's arm and pulled him into the moving line. The men near him cheered him on, laughing at Matt's stumbling attempts. Once he caught his breath, Matt found it simple to follow the step. His confidence swelled as the rhythm throbbed through his body, loosening his tight muscles. He was suddenly filled with excitement and happiness. His own heels pounded against the hard ground. He was one of them. He came back to earth with a stitch in his side. His legs threatened to give way under him. The dancing seemed to have no end. Determined that Etienne should not see him weakening, he moved faster and stamped harder. Finally, when he felt he could not make the circle one more time, the dance ended. The feasting began. A squaw brought him a wooden bowl filled with thick, hot stew and curiously carved wooden spoon. The first steaming mouthful burned his tongue, but he was too hungry to wait. He thought nothing had ever tasted so good, dark and greasy and spicy. So this was bear meat. Presently he noticed that Etienne sat beside him, eating nothing. "You're not eating," he said, with a sudden doubt. "Have you given me your share?" "This my bear," the boy answered. "I kill, not eat. Maybe not get any more bear." It didn't sound as if he minded in the least, as if, in fact, he was proud of not eating. When Matt's bowl was empty, the squaw refilled it. By the time he finished, sleepiness began to drag at his eyelids. He could scarcely hold them open. Etienne seemed in no hurry to leave. The Indians were enjoying themselves, refilling their bowls, shouting at each other, laughing, slapping their legs at what seemed to be an uproarious jokes. This was noisier than any celebration Matt had ever seen in Quincy, even on muster day. Why had he ever had the idea that the Indians were a dull lot? At last, however, they fell silent, and Matt saw that one of them was beginning another story. It promised to be a long one. Between the sentences, the speaker drew on his pipe, and then the smoke curled from his nose and his mouth as he spoke. Matt's head drooped and came up with a painful jerk. He had almost fallen asleep sitting up. Etienne laughed and motioned to him to his feet. At the thought of tramping all the way back to the cabin, Matt groaned. It must be close to midnight. Then he saw that Etienne did not mean to go back. He led Matt towards one of the wigwams and pulled back the flap of the deerskin that hung across the door. Inside, a small fire burned, and by its faint light, Matt saw a low platform covered with matting and fur. Etienne made a silent motion, and Matt, too sleepy to question, gratefully let his tired body sink down on the soft skins. Etienne stirred up the fire and left him alone. Once, long after, Matt roused to hear the rattle and the pounding of feet. The Indians were dancing again, and he was thankful to stay right where he was.